You see, I grew up as a young kid in the West where it's very, very, very controlling. And you've probably noticed this as well if you live in the US, the United Kingdom, Canada, anywhere of these three areas. You've probably noticed that you stand out. Because I grew up in the school. I was anxious. I had zero social skills. I looked like one of the worst, ugliest guys. I didn't even look that great. That was my mindset. I thought I looked horrible. Like I looked like a fat slob. When I looked at myself in the mirror, all I saw was a skinny twig. A skinny twig. And it confused me for years and years. I looked at myself skinny, as a skinny twig. A skinny twig who couldn't harm anybody because he was too weak, too pathetic to even do anything about it. I was probably one of the weakest guys in the whole field whilst we're doing PE. I was probably one of the weakest guys who could probably only do 10, 15 push ups and then give out. I could maybe even only barely even do 1, 2, 3, alone 5. I was weak. I looked terrible. My diet was terrible. My habit was terrible. My daily routine was horrible. It destroyed my mental health, productivity, and focus. I would come back home from school, pull my phone out. You know what I did? Went to YouTube Shorts, scroll, 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 scroll. Hours and hours and hours. I would be scrolling, doing absolutely nothing with my time in my life that was actually productive and worth it, that would be good. For peace sake, I ate horrible, played video games, did homework. For peace sake, I even barely did homework. I missed maybe at least 5, 10, 15 assignments throughout the whole year. I missed many, many assignments. And I had to make up a lot of them. I had to do this. My GPA certainly did take some sort of a toll. At the beginning, it was about a 4.0, a 3.8. You know what happened? It dipped. Dipped. All that effort I put in school and my grades dropped. It was useless. My efforts were fruitless. They meant nothing. They didn't improve my grades at all. It dropped. My life before I know it. Months and months, years and years have already passed. I stare. I stare at my grades because if you're raised in an Asian household, you've probably experienced this as well. That when you get bad grades, especially in an Asian household, I know everybody makes the stereotype that they bring out the slipper, this. I will admit it's partially true, but back to the point. They'd always yell at me because I don't have, the 4.0s, 3.8s, 3.7s. And I'm not trying to make anybody look bad, but if you live in an Asian household, if you know, you know. My mental health was horrible. My focuses were messed with. I had no drive, no vision. And I was probably the ugliest kid. Second to ugliest or ugliest kid out of the entire school. I'd always see those guys, and you've probably seen this as well, the guys with the long curly hair or the long hair in general. They're tall, they're lean, and they were just born with this genetic composition. They were born with this. They were born lucky. They were born the way you want it to be, but you're not. Because I was in one of the shorter ones. I wasn't the most attractive. And guess what? Here I am, speaking to you here today. You see, everybody thought I was weird. The exact second, I just tried speaking. Oh yeah, bro, did you see the new update? Everybody would talk over me. I couldn't even speak. I couldn't speak for longer than 30 seconds, a minute. Because all of my friends were too busy focused on the video game, the new update, the new patch, this school, this, that. Sometimes they would ask me for help. Me for help on school because I was one of the guys who could just ace my school without having to worry about it. I could just ace. Everybody asked for my help. When I'd be working on homework or I'd be done, I'm chilling. It's the weekends. There's nothing due. No problems, none of that. I pull up my phone and I see a message from this guy in this Google chat group. Message from this guy, message from this guy, message from this guy. There'd be like 3 or 4 people asking for my help. 3 or 4 people asking me specifically, the guy who was probably the ugliest guy out of everybody. That was the mindset, the mentality, the perspective I had on myself. They were asking me. Me at the time where I felt the lowest, where I felt like trash. They asked me for the homework help. They'd ask me for the code on this assignment. And before I know it, I have like 3 or 4 notifications from all of them. A Google chat on my phone. I pull up my phone, I tell them, hang on a second, chill out, I send them all the details they needed, and then they fixed their code, the grades went up. The grades went up. And fair enough, my entire family, everybody in my family, friends, tried stressing me about school especially. You see, because I had many friends. Actually, no, very few. Maybe 5 or 10 very close friends in a group of friends. I'm losing my voice for you. You better be listening. I'd be the guy in the group who would help them sometimes at school, but not all the time. And whenever somebody would try to talk terrible to me, most of the time, nobody was backing me up. I was just backed up into a corner, a wall. I couldn't say anything. But sometimes there would be 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5 guys in the group who would say, "Hey, back off him. That's not true." And they backed me up. They backed me up. My boys at the time, they would back me up. They agreed with some of the things that I was saying. But everybody said my humor was terrible. I'm not funny. I'm not the funny guy in the group. I'm not the clown. I don't prance around being an idiot. And everybody pointed at me and laughed. Because at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., I'd be the guy on my computer. I gotta finish my homework. And I'd be slaving away, going on my pencil, going like this, on my keyboard. And I'd be slaving away at all my homework. Everybody would call me a workaholic because I'd be working all the time. I'd be focused all the time on the task. School, particularly, at very, very late at the night when they still want to talk to me, play video games with me. It'd be 3 or 4 p.m. Oh, let's play video games, guys. Before I know it, it's 6 p.m. Then I tell them, "Oh, I'm gonna hop off." They're like, "Oh, you sure, man? You sure? Let's just play more. One more, go. One more, bro. One more. 1 more hour. 2 more hours. 3 more hours. 30 more minutes." I'm like, "No, guys, I'm fine." I get on my computer and I start doing my homework. 30 minutes later, I finish whatever, and it's whatever the group. Everybody else is already offline, AFK, they're eating, going with their family and everything. And everybody's already gone. I'm just the guy who stands out. The guy everybody thinks is weird. And when I get on the journey of trying to fix my life, everybody points at me and calls me weird. And they always use the one insult I always get pointed out at. The fact that I was short. The fact that I was short. I wasn't the tallest guy. I wasn't the most handsome guy. For sure. Even if the girls were attracted to me, which I didn't know at the time, it didn't even work. You see, the reason everybody thinks you're weird is because you stand out. You stand out from everybody. And I'm not saying that in a bad reason or a negative reason or a negative way. You stand out. And people would think you're weird. But when I noticed when I started hitting the gym, lifting, bulking, everybody compliments my arms. Everybody compliments me. The second they notice a couple inches, centimeters of difference on my bicep, they point at me. Their eyes are wide. And it's like I completely unlock a different character, a different personality. Ask me about gym. I say yes, this. And it's a whole nother story, but they started making fun of me. Again, they called me weird. And the insult, you're short. It hurt me bad. You notice, when you stand out from people, you become very, very noticeable. Everybody will
start giving you attention, and you start being seen a lot more because you aren't what you used to be. This is not a bad thing, it's actually quite good. So when someone calls you weird, thinks you're weird, it doesn't matter. Focus.